Good evening, good evening. How are you guys? How are you students? I hope you had a good day and you're enjoying your evening. Thank you so much for joining this class. But before we continue, I would like to know those that are absent because I can be able to see those that are present. I can see James, I can see Mary. I was also seeing Daisy. I don't know what has gone wrong with her internet, but I haven't seen Mwangi, I haven't seen Timothy and Carol. So for those three, they need to see me tomorrow after our physical class at a school. So today we are going to be looking at yeast products, yes, but we need to remind ourselves of what we looked at during our previous lesson. So we looked at some of the products that can be made using baking. Who can remember? Can we have one student that can tell us something about baking products or products that are made using baking? Daisy? Daisy, are you there? Daisy, are you there? Daisy is not there. Let us have Mary. Mary, can you respond to that? Tell us of any product that is made using baking.
Yes, Cha, we have mandazi.
Mandazi, brilliant, very good.
And also, what about cake, Cha?
Cakes are also made using baking. You are very, very right. Very, very correct. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Daisy. And from that point, we shall go straight to our today's lesson title, which is yeast products. So allow me to share with you on my screen so that we may go together. So, are you able to see anything on my screen?
Yes.
What can you see?
Yeast products.
Correct. Yeast products. Yeast products. So that is what we shall be looking at today. So before we go any further, let me share my slides. Sorry, let me share my slides very, very well. Slideshow from the beginning. Correct. So you can see, can you be able to see?
Yes.
Yeast products, okay?
Yes.
All right, so we look at our today's objective or our lesson's objective, whereby we have the three of them. The first one, by the end of this as sub-module unit, you as the trainer are supposed to be able, or you will be able to define on terms. Then you will be in a position to identify types of yeast products. Then number 3, explain the role of ingredients in the yeast mixtures. So before we get to the end of the lesson, or by the end of the lesson, you're supposed to at least have achieved these 3 objectives. You define terms, you identify types of yeast products, and explain on the role of ingredients in the yeast mixtures. Okay, so we continue. I hope we can all see. Are we in a position to see?
Yes.
Very well. So let us start by defining terms. We will define this term, commercial leavening. What is commercial leavening? It is in regards to yeast products. It is an agent containing yeast cells used to raise the dough in making bread and for fermenting beer or whiskey. So commercial leavening, it's an agent containing yeast cells used to raise the dough in making bread and also in the fermentation of beers and whiskeys. What of baker's yeast? We have baker's yeast, which is different from the baking powder that we know of. So baker's yeast is the common name for the strains of yeast commonly used as leavening agents in baking bread and related products, where it converts the fermentable sugars present in the dough into carbon dioxide and ethanol. So there's a difference between baker's yeast and the commercial leavening agent. For commercial leavening agent used in the fermentation of that is the raising of the dough that is used in the making of bread and also used in the fermentation of beer and whiskey. Unlike the baker's yeast, which converts the fermentable sugars. It converts the fermentable sugars present in the dough into carbon dioxide and ethanol. So those are the terms that we're supposed to be defining. We look at types of yeast products. I can remember when we were starting this lesson, we looked at those products that are made from baking. But as of today, we are looking at those products that are made from yeast. We have lean dough products. A lean dough is one that is low in fats and sugar. Lean dough has got a small amount of fat and sugar. Example, and those products that are made from this lean dough, we have bread rolls, we have buns and donuts. Then we also have rich dough that I used. Rich dough are those that contain high proportions of fat, sugar, and sometimes eggs. For example, which are these products that are used that are made using this rich dough? We have croissants and Danish pastries. Of course, let us look at the role of ingredients in yeast mixtures. We have 5 ingredients that will be required, that are a must for us to have the yeast dough. And these products are, the first one is flour. The flour has high gluten content that softens and stretches during fermentation. So we cannot have any dough without flour. We also need a salt which flavors yeast products and prevents yeast from working too fast, thus producing a coarse texture. Number 3, we have sugar, very essential for fermentation process. Number 4, we have liquid used to bind ingredients. That is, liquid used can be lukewarm, water, or milk. Ensure that this liquid that you're going to be using is not very cold, is not too hot. So it should be lukewarm to be able to ferment or just make the fermentation process very easy. And then we have fat, used to improve keeping qualities or storage qualities, that is flour, to add nutritive value. So all the 5 ingredients are very, very essential when it comes to the making of yeast products. All right, so we look at the qualities of yeast products. These yeast products should have a uniform golden brown color, that is the crust, which is both thin and smooth, like in the case of bread. Then it should be well risen but not over inflated. A light texture with a moist and resilient crumb. Crumb is the outer part of it is the inner part, sorry, not the outer. The outer part is the crust, the inner part is the crumb part of the bread. Then it should have good flavor without taste or yeast or sour taste. Correct. That is it with the qualities of a good yeast product. How do we store these yeast products? Best eaten on the day of baking, because they have a low keeping quality due to low shortening and sugar content. Store in suitable containers, that is sealed plastic bags or containers at room temperature. For longer storage, put in freezers. Yeast products are softened by a damp environment and humid conditions. So those are the storage points. Those are the factors that you should consider when storing these yeast products. And lastly, how do we present, or when do we serve these yeast products? In a hotel setting, yeast products are presented at different meal times. Can be for breakfast, as a snack, can also be served either for lunch or dinner as an accompaniment. That is, for example, bread rolls that goes with soups, and also as an accompaniment as well. So these yeast products are very, very essential and are also as important as the baking products that we looked at last time. And I believe we have learned on something. And I would wish to ask, is there anyone with a question to that point? Is there any student with a question to that point? Any question? Okay, if there isn't any question, if there's no question, sorry for that, if there's no question, then I can ask a question. Give me an example of any yeast product. An example of any yeast product.
There's bread.
Bread, correct. Very, very correct. Any other?
Cake.
Cake. No, cake we will make using baking.
What about mandazi?
Mandazi, baking.
What about croissants?
Correct. Croissants are made using yeast. Very, very well. I can see that you are attentive, even though there is that little bit of confusion with the baking products and yeast products, but it is very easy to get to know the difference. Just keep going through your notes, and with time you will get to understand even better. So before we conclude on our lesson, I would like to give out an assignment. This assignment goes like this: list 2 yeast products, list 2 yeast products, list 2 yeast products, list 2 yeast products under their methods and their methods of preparation, So you list 2 products and 2 yeast products and their methods of preparation. The assignment should award you 10 marks, so it has 10 marks, and will be due on the 17th of May. What does that tell you? Should be submitted on or before the 17th of May. And this one will be done by the class rep. She will collect all the handwritten assignments and bring them to my desk in the office. So if we don't have any question, I would wish you to have a very lovely evening as you continue studying hard for your exams that are just around the corner. Thank you so much. Bye bye. Have a blessed evening.